Ladies and gentlemen, for the Premier of the Limpopo Province, the Honourable Mr. Chupu Stanley Mutambatha.
Let me start first by extending my appreciation to Topco Media, in particular the CEO, Mr. Ralph Fletcher, for your generous invitation. We truly appreciate this opportunity to interact and engage on important matters of national development in the context of our shared future. Indeed, for us to work towards a particular future, we first need to visualize it, embrace it, and only then can we be able to claim it. Our long-term future has been visualized through the National Development Plan, which was crafted some few years ago. The people of South Africa, united in their diversity, have all embraced this future as visualized in the NDP. The challenge for us is to put shoulder to the wheel and work in unity towards this shared future. The NDP envisions a South Africa where everybody feels free, yet bounded to others, where everybody embraces their full potential, a country where opportunity is determined not by birth, but by ability, education, and hard work. Of course, you also need to be smart. It is agreed that realizing such a society will require transformation of the economy and focused efforts to build the country's capabilities, to eliminate poverty and reduce inequality, and ensure that the economy grows faster and in ways that benefit all South Africans. The plan appreciates the fact that our young people deserve better educational and economic opportunities. Of course, and focused efforts are needed to eliminate gender inequality. This is a vision embraced by all South Africans. The challenge, as I have said, is about navigating the routes towards such a future, and also about the pace of such a navigation process. The other point of collective agreement is that for us to achieve the objective listed in the NDP, we need to build the capacity of the state itself. The need is obviously to build a state that has the necessary capacity to respond to the country's developmental needs. According to the expression in Chapter 13 of the NDP, a capable state is a state that makes citizens and residents feel loved, respected, and cared for in public institutions. It is a state that makes citizens feel that what they contribute in terms of taxes is plowed back through quality of public services rendered by government. Obviously, this will manifest through the following. Good hospitals and clinics with well-trained doctors and nurses. Good schools with well-educated, trained, and caring teachers. Good libraries with wealth of books and knowledgeable librarians. Good police stations with respected and upright police. Without doubt, a capable and developmental state will also help government to accelerate on the delivery of basic services, such as sanitation, electricity, and potable drinking water. Indeed, as former President Thabo Mbeki has said at the launch of the then Public Administration Leadership Academy, Palama, and I quote, "In a democracy, one of the prime duties of the government is to give realization to the rights of all citizens, not only to ensure their freedoms through carefully structured relations amongst the different institutions, but also to advance their rights and opportunities through access to services, close quote. Program Director. To a greater extent, the demands of a capable and developmental state are related to the dictates of good governance and ethical leadership. In this regard, the NDP mandate us to do the following: build a resilient anti-corruption system, strengthen the accountability and responsibility of public servants, create an open, responsive, and accountable public service, and strengthen the judicial governance and the rule of law. The Auditor General has coined a phrase which he calls consequence management. The essence of this is that those who off-ramp from the route of good governance and ethical leadership must be met with the unfriendly fist of the law. There is just no way we can achieve our developmental objectives if we do not prioritize the issue of good governance and ethical leadership. Not so long ago, our province of Limpopo had almost collapsed because of lack of good governance. You would remember that at that time, the province had accumulated over 2.7 billion rands in unauthorized expenditure. If you work on the ratio of the total budget of Limpopo, you will see the impact of that. The situation was such that hospitals were without medication and food, schools were without textbooks, and public servants were facing a real possibility of not getting their salaries. The truth of the matter was that that situation had the birthmarks of poor governance and unethical tendencies. National government had to intervene and also apply consequence management. Firstly, the entire executive was dissolved. Several HODs and senior members of the administration had to be suspended and charged. The Director General was subsequently relieved of her duties in our pursuance to recoup lost money and get governance on good course. Today, we can safely say we are on course. We have regained corporate governance, ultimately, the developmental state ethos are built in that province. Program Director. The accountability is even more crucial at the local sphere of governance, the municipality. As we all know, that local government is at the coalface of service delivery. It is the strategic center of gravity in terms of delivery and meaningful improvement of conditions of living for our people. Once municipalities become unaccountable, there will definitely be a distance created between the people and the institutions of governance. In most cases, it is found that even the very integrated development plans that are supposed to be people-driven do not speak to the needs of the people on the ground. Municipalities tend to delegate the responsibility to develop these IDPs to third parties who only engage with the communities in a box-ticking manner. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why the national government then decided to do away with a department called RDP, it was because we wanted to make development integrated. We wanted to go the integrated way when we deal with development processes. As a result of these box-ticking measures, you end up with IDPs which are not in line with the needs and aspirations of the people. This, in many cases, is a reason behind service delivery protests that we have seen and continue to see in many parts of our country. One will find that a municipality is planning to deliver a road whilst the people in that area are without drinking water. To make matters even worse, local councillors who are supposed to be with the people on the ground quite more often disappears from communities as soon as they are elected. They become the representatives of communities just in name and not in actual truth or in actual fact. As I already alluded to, this maximizes the distance between the leaders and the people they lead. This alone is actually a fertile seed for disgruntlement, disillusionment, and anarchy. Ladies and gentlemen, the law requires that public representatives should meet with the people from time to time, yet this, in most instances, hardly ever happens. Municipalities must revive and sustain their public participation programs in order to ensure that they have a dynamic link with communities or with their communities. Communities must be made to own up development plans of municipalities, understand budgetary constraints, and be abreast with project delivery timelines. This, indeed, is what our forebears in 1955 meant when they met in Kliptown and declared that the people shall govern. I think even when we drew the first policy document in 1993-94, it was adopted in 1994 by the new government, the Reconstruction and Development Plan. In his foreword, the then President Nelson Mandela said, "This shall be a people-driven program." Meaning that the people shall be at the center of driving that process, of driving that program, and not government being at the center of driving the program. Government shall be there to facilitate the program, but the people themselves shall be at the center of driving that process, because the people shall govern, because the government, when it came in, said amandla, and our people said away to, meaning that the power is theirs, and we are not a bureaucracy that the former so-called socialist countries in East and Central Europe used to be. Ladies and gentlemen, it is against this background that municipalities must deal with challenges that includes, but not limited to, the following: poor accountability and relationships with communities, problems related political administrative interface, lack of compliance with the legislative and regulatory frameworks for municipalities, fraud and corruption, lack of proper planning and poor project management, and at times, lack of suitably qualified and skilled personnel in critical divisions of governance. By the way, one of the issues that made Limpopo to collapse in 2011 was dead. Employing people in positions where they are not qualified or suitably qualified to run. Program Director, in addressing these challenges, the municipalities are required to take a journey back to basics. Like former Minister of COGTA, Praveen Gordhan, developed a program that says back to basics. There is no doubt that the end result of getting our basic result will be an improved delivery of quality services to our communities. Getting basics right means that our local authorities will be well positioned and capacitated to deliver clean drinking water, decent sanitation, electricity, shelter, timeous waste removal, and quality roads. Part of what is required in this back to basics journey I have referred to is the filling of vacancies in strategic positions with qualified and skilled personnel. Improving expenditure on capital and maintenance budgets, improving integrated planning, infrastructure delivery and promoting economic development, promoting good governance and accountability, strengthening the relationship between the institutions of traditional leadership and municipalities coming from Limpopo, obviously. That becomes very critical there. Democratizing governance by putting people and their concerns first, and getting the basics right should also mean that we must improve the image of local government. To achieve this does not need the services of a public relations company or something like that. It simply means that we must be seen and felt by the communities in action, doing the right thing. Example of this clean governance, our municipalities must improve in their audit outcomes. The one thing we should never tolerate is a disclaimer audit opinion. In our province, we have said to government departments and municipalities that once you find a disclaimer audit opinion, you must consider yourself disclaimed also. You know, this, ladies and gentlemen, is because nothing undermines our people like a disclaimer audit opinion. It can never and should never be accepted that any municipality or government department or any government entity can simply fail or refuse to submit books to the Auditor General. Because it is this type of behavior that makes our people to lose confidence in those that they have elected to represent them. There should be serious consequences against all senior officials and councillors of our municipalities that gets a disclaimer from the Auditor General. For me, a disclaimer simply means refusing to account. And this can never be accepted. Once more, let accountability be the epicenter of good corporate governance at all levels of government. Local government in particular should be the real epicenter of good governance because it is at the cold face of delivery. Program Director, I appreciate that the day ahead is still long for you. I therefore do not wish to hold you hostage with another long speech. Let me conclude by re-inviting all of us to take the business of this summit very seriously. As government, we hope to benefit from the submissions and resolutions of this very important summit. I wish you a successful session of this 2017 edition of Vision 2030 Summit. I thank you.
Vision 2030, the National Development Plan. It's our future. Let's go for it, man.